and then to also find out why do these people often get sick. At
So
times they put on this
yeah,
thing that they're feeling cold. They often get sick. They're always at the hospital. As you even told me, a friend of yours
yeah.
was admitted at the hospital.
But before I answer that, I don't know. Ghanaians have a notion of sickler. I don't know what they call sickler.
Is it? I'm coming. Is it a mispronunciation of the sickle cell that we are calling
Very good.
sickler?
It is a misconception.
Exactly.
Let me put it that way. You see, there are some people, their immune system is very weak. Although they don't have the sickle cell disease, but their
Yeah.
immune system is very weak, so they always fall sick.
Okay.
So Ghanaians term those people sickless. I don't know who brought that term, but then
Or they are calling a sick patient a sickler.
very good. So someone who always gets sick, they call those people sickler.
Sickler.
But coming back to the question, the reason why these people with sickle cell disease they fall sick is that, as I said earlier, their red blood cells they don't live up to the expected lifespan.
Yeah.
That is the 120 days. So you have less red blood cells. It means that all the time you have a disproportion, between your white blood cells and red blood cells.
Okay.
I don't want to go into the biochemistry and all that, okay? But you see, your bone marrow produces red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. Now, if you don't, your red blood cells are dying at a shorter lifespan. It means your bone marrow should direct all the attention to produce enough red blood cells to cater for the red blood cells that are dying in circulation.
Okay.
You get it? Good. So in so doing, it is doing that at the expense of the white blood cells. So you wouldn't be producing enough white blood cells. And we all know the function of the white blood cell. They protect us against what? Diseases. Very good. So if you are not producing enough white blood cells, it means we are prone to what? Infections.
Okay.
Like salmonella. You see, according to research, patients with sickle cell disease, they are prone to salmonella infections. Salmonella, it has
I'm coming. What's salmonella?
yeah, it is a bacteria, and one subtype or one species, the Salmonella typhi, and that causes the typhoid
So
fever.
it's a bacteria.
It's a bacteria.
Oh, this one, it's a name like Samuel. We have Samuela, so Samuelella. Then we have Samuel.
But you see, they also have one advantage over us. Generally, people with sickle cell disease, they are resistant to malaria than we with normal.
Okay, so
Yeah,
they don't. Is it they don't get often or they don't get at all?
Generally, they don't get it.
Wow.
They can contract it, but generally they don't get it as we
do often get
very
it.
good.
Anytime you see a Ghanaian, I'm sick. What's happening to you? I have malaria. These people, there is a sickle cell patient, often feel weak. As part of them getting sick often, they always look weak. Like, oh, this person is weak and all that, and is not fit for this, or can't do heavy things, or like the normal work that we do, they can't do it.
All right. So as I said earlier, because the attention is being drawn to produce more red blood cells, you're not producing white blood cells. It is the white blood cells that helps you to fight against infections and all the foreign pathogens and all that. You see, even if you get a cut, you need white blood cells to come around together with the platelets to form clots and all that. So if you are directing attention to produce red blood cells, which are not even living up to the standard that you're expecting, it means you are doing that at the expense of the white blood cells. So you won't produce enough white blood cells. So your body wouldn't be able to fight against what infections. So every single infection or every single bacteria that enters your body, every single inflammatory reaction you have in your body, you feel the stress, you feel the heat because you don't have enough white blood cell due to all these complications. Yeah. And also, one thing is that one main function of the red blood cell is to supply oxygen to your tissues. Good. Now, the tissues will need this oxygen to produce ATP.
Okay.
To produce ATP, to produce NADH, to produce all the energy currencies they need. So if you are not sending oxygen to your tissues, it means that you are not producing enough energy for your tissues to function. So what happens to your tissues? The tissues become what? Weak. I hope you get it.
Yeah.
Very good.